Today we're gonna talk about crazy stuff. What is going on in the world?
So yeah,
So earlier we were talking about, are you going to sue God? Are you? We're thinking, are you going to sue God because God is doing the right thing and you're doing the wrong thing? And Jamie is trying to find out.
here I found it.
Oh, you found it!
Yeah, I found it. It says here actual suits. This suit is from Ernie Chambers. It says in the U.S. state of Nebraska, State Senator Ernie Chambers filed a lawsuit in 2008 against God, seeking a permanent injunction against God's harmful activities, as an effort to publicize the issue of the public access to the court system. The suit was dismissed because God could not be properly notified, not having an address. The judge stated, given that the court finds that there can never be service effectuated on a named defendant, this action will be dismissed with prejudice. The senator, assuming God to be singular and all-knowing, responded, "The court itself acknowledges the existence of God. A consequence of that acknowledgement is the recognition of God's omniscience. Since God knows everything, God has notice of this lawsuit." Chambers filed a lawsuit in response to another lawsuit that he's considered to be frivolous and inappropriate. In response to Chambers' case, two responses were filed. The first was from a Corpus Christi lawyer, Eric Perkins, who wanted to answer the question, "What would God say?" The second was filed in Douglas County, Nebraska District Court. The source of the second response, claiming to be from God, is unclear as no contact information was given. And it says that on July 30, 2008, local media sources reported the Douglas County District Court was going to deny Chambers' lawsuit because Chambers has failed to notify the defendant. However, on August 1st, Chambers was granted a court date of August 5th in order to proceed with his lawsuit. The scheduling hearing will give me a chance to lay out the facts that would justify the granting of the motion. Chambers was quoted as saying, he added, "Once the court enters an injunction, that's much as I can do," he said. "That's a much as I would ask the court. I wouldn't expect them to enforce it." However, a judge finally did throw out the case, saying that the Almighty was not properly served due to his unlisted home address. As November 5th, 2008, Chambers filed an appeal to Nebraska Supreme Court. The former state senator John Dekamp and E.O. Augustinsson in Sweden asked to represent God. Augustinsson letters mentioning the joint were stricken as frivolous. The appeals court gave Chambers until February 24th to show that he notified DeCamp and Augustin of his brief, which he did. The case was finally closed on February 25th when the Nebraska Court of Appeals dismissed the appeal and vacated the order of the district court. The court quoted cases according to which a court decides real controversies and determines rights factually controverted and does not address or dispose of abstract questions or issues that might arise in hypothetical or fictitious situation or setting.
Oh, shoot.
So pretty much, like I said, yeah, the court acknowledges that God is real, but like I said, God doesn't present himself in person because exactly what he says. He is omnipotent, omniscient. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. He don't have an actual place to stay. So, like I said, in conclusion, people who are in power, you can't just go against your creator. I mean, God created governments. He gave them power. Well then, how can the creation go against God? You just can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. That's like an iPhone going against Steve Jobs. That's pretty much what's happening right now. That's pretty much what's happening today. It's like a car going against a human being. That's impossible. It's like that. It's simple. But it's because we human beings, yes, God gave us a brain, God gave us a conscience, God gave us pretty much everything that He is as well. He get what He has, we have it as well, but in a smaller scale. But just because we have that, it doesn't mean that we're gonna abuse that. You know, it's like God gave it to us because He's sharing a part of who He is with us. You know, I think we should just appreciate what we have. We should just appreciate. That's it. The governments, the agencies that are with the governments, they should just enjoy what they have as well. Just do the right thing. The people who actually do the wrong, yes, stop them. But people who are just living by their life, and just because they make one little mistake, doesn't mean that it's a big threat. No, just if it's small things, if it's small little things, there's small little things that could be fixed fast. But there's a problem too. The problem is that here in the U.S., well, people don't teach you the laws. You're you're born, but you don't have knowledge of what the laws are. Nobody teaches you that. You go to school, yes, it's education, but it's not real education. It's just things that it's like things that pretty much goes with common sense. But I think the best thing schools should do instead teach the laws. I think it'll be a little better because at least you're aware what is right and what is wrong to a state or to a country. Because like in Israel, well, little kids since they're like 5 years old, they begin to learn their laws. They begin to learn the Ten Commandments, and then after the Ten Commandments, when they get a little older, that's when they begin to learn about the real laws, the martial status, the things like oh, what happens if divorce happens. They know that the Jewish people know their laws since they were little. So that's why when you go over there, everybody follows the law because they were raised by it. So it's a part of them. And I think that's what the US should be doing as well. At least teach people that are US citizens. Well, if you're a US citizen, well, you have to know the laws. It's a must, it's a requirement. But because here in the US, nobody teaches you nothing. Well, then how are you gonna know? Because that's where this crime's happening. Because why? Because people they don't have that knowledge, and because nobody's telling them nothing, well, they're gonna keep on doing it. They're gonna keep on doing it, and then they're gonna learn. They're gonna start learning about the laws after they did the wrong, which is for me it's like a waste of time. They just wasted their time right there, and it is what the U.S. is doing is just wasting time. The parenting skills here in the U.S. is actually full of shit. That's all it is here. The parenting skills here is full of shit because why? Because there is no education about it. There's actually no true education. You begin to learn it later on. Nobody teaches you. The schools don't teach you nothing. They don't. They just teach you what they think should be useful, but it's not. So you actually a U.S. citizen begins to learn more like after they finish high school. Like, I mean, even college. College is a waste of time as well, because college is the same thing as high school, but at a bigger scale. That's all it is. So the main thing is that here in the U.S. The founding fathers made the Bill of Rights, which is pretty similar to the Ten Commandments. But think about it, it's happening all over again. The U.S. is doing the same mistake that Israel did, pretty much. They're going against the founding fathers. They're disobeying the Ten Bill of Rights. The Ten Bill of Rights is actually not really much of a law. It's actually a reminder. It's reminding us that God gave us rights. So a government cannot give you rights. An agency cannot give you rights or other power. The judicial power doesn't give you rights. You were born with it. You were born with those rights. It's a natural. It's a natural thing in us human beings. We were born with it. But because here in the U.S. lacks the U.S. Education system lacks understanding of rights. What they think that because what the government says no, we give the rights. The judicial system says, oh no, we're passing these laws so you guys could know the laws. But how? Like, it still doesn't prove a point. To prove a point is you have to have understanding, and that how teach it. I'm like that's what I said. America, I mean United States, because America is actually all this continent. America is from North America, from Canada all the way to South America. This is America. All of this is America. But to the United States, if you want to get better,